Upgrade your home theater experience with the OXS S5 Soundbar, featuring Dolby Atmos 3.1.2 channel surround sound, a built-in subwoofer, and center speaker for crystal clear dialogue. With 230 watts of immersive power, up-firing speakers, and just 1% distortion, it's audio you can feel. Enjoy 4K HDR pass-through and HDMI eARC with just one cable for a high-quality, clutter-free setup. Choose from 5 EQ modes to match your mood, including movie night, music, or late night viewing. The OXS S5 Cinema Sound Simplified. If you happen to be watching TV with just the built-in TV speakers, you are completely and totally missing out. Now, I know a lot of people don't have room for a dedicated ultimate surround sound experience, but having a soundbar is the next best thing, and it completely takes your TV and movie watching experiences to a whole other level. I mean, I go to a lot of people's houses and I'm always like, how are we watching TV, even if it's just watching like a football game, with the built-in speakers on the TV that just sound so tiny and just not good. I mean, seriously, these days you can get a soundbar just like this without breaking the bank, and it just makes everything so much better. Inside the box, we have a user manual, an optical audio cable, an HDMI cable, a 2-piece power brick and cable, a simple remote control, as well as the soundbar itself, which does have some good weight to it and a very nice design. First things first, if we take a look over here on the back, we do have a DC power input, a 3.5mm auxiliary port, a USB-A port, an optical audio jack, as well as an HDMI in and an HDMI out port that is good for eARC. Of course, we also do have 2 little spots here, so we can actually mount this to the wall if you so choose, or you could of course just leave it on the table. Now up here on the top, we do have 5 touch sensitive buttons, including a volume down, volume up, power, Bluetooth, as well as an input button. So now, being that this is a 3.1.2 channel soundbar, we actually do have 3 speakers, including a dedicated center speaker, so you can hear clear and crisp dialogue, even if there's loud explosions and stuff going on in an action movie that are going to be coming from the left and right channel. And trust me, that definitely makes a difference. If we didn't have the center speaker, just have left and right, everything would be mushed all together and it'd be hard to hear things, and that's not a good experience. And of course, speaking of that center speaker, we do have a dedicated option to adjust the gain level of the center speaker to make it louder or quieter depending on what you're watching and get everything exactly how you want it to sound. Unfortunately, we aren't able to customize the left and right channel without changing the whole volume of the entire soundbar. So that's the 3 in 3.1.2. Now the 1 is going to be down here on the bottom. As you can see, we do have a built-in subwoofer here, and that's actually nice to see, although obviously it would be a bit better if we had an external sub, but if you just want a simple setup with a soundbar, this is the way to go. And then of course, we finally have the 0.2 in 3.1.2, and that's gonna be 2 top firing speakers that are gonna shoot up to the ceiling and give you that nice overhead sound. That's basically Dolby Atmos right there. And yes, you are able to adjust the gain of the upward firing speakers all the way up to 6 if you want to make them louder. So as you can see, everything is very simple and straightforward. So without further ado, I'm gonna go get this set up and I'm gonna test it out. So at this point, I've been using the OXS S5 Soundbar for a couple of weeks now, and it's actually thoroughly impressed me. Coming from using a dedicated surround sound system with speakers all around the room and a dedicated subwoofer, I wasn't expecting much from a simple soundbar with 3 speakers, some upward firing speakers, as well as a built-in subwoofer. I was like, you know, it's probably okay, but it's not gonna be mind-blowing. But I feel like I was wrong, because watching a movie with a good Dolby Atmos track with this soundbar, whew, it does a great job at virtualizing a complete bubble around you. It just sounds fantastic. I didn't really want to compare it to a full-on dedicated surround sound system with speakers everywhere because I didn't think it would come close, but after using it, I'm like, if you're in a decently sized room, not too big, if you're somebody who didn't know the difference, you go there and you just start watching, you're like, whoa, you got a surround sound system? Like, if you didn't know any better, you know? But I do know, so I'm like, yeah, it's not here, but you could definitely be fooled if you didn't know. And this is gonna sound crazy, but I've been to some movie theaters recently, and unless you go to like a Dolby Cinema or IMAX or something, the standard theaters, the sound is it's terrible. The picture quality is terrible, but the sound is terrible too. Like, sometimes there's just like hardly any bass or anything, and it's so quiet. Like, I'm like, how is this a thing? This, I would say, sounds far superior to a standard movie theater experience, which is crazy. Obviously, in a smaller room. If you put in a big room, it would probably sound terrible. But if you're just in a regular living room or bedroom, I think it sounds far superior to a movie theater. And that's saying something. Although, to be fair, my surround sound does too, but this is a sound bar we're talking about. Just one sound bar and bam! It's got a great experience. There are 5 different listening mode options for the soundbar, including late night mode, movie mode, music mode, voice mode, as well as standard mode. I have it set to movie mode. I sent the bass all the way up with the treble a little bit in the middle, as well as turning the top firing speakers all the way up and the center speaker all the way up so I can hear everything over all the action, and I feel like it just sounds perfecto. Now, like I said, it has a built-in subwoofer, and I was like, it's probably gonna be okay. Not amazing, but it actually sounds pretty good. It's very strong given that it's very small. Like, there's an explosion going on, you can you can't really feel it, but like you can hear that you could feel it, like if you touched it or something. So like, it's there, it's boom. Now, no matter what you're watching and what you're listening to and how high you have the volume, there's no distortion whatsoever. Everything does sound crisp and clear and fantastic, so that is very nice to hear. I mean, really, with a nice surround soundtrack, especially Dolby Atmos, I can hear something over there and there's no speaker over there. It's all coming from here. But I can hear stuff around me, and it's very impressive. I mean, seriously, if you're using a TV with the built-in speakers, I don't know what you're doing. Because like I said, you might not have room for a whole setup with speakers all around the room, but a soundbar is easy. Plug and play, seriously. Plug it in with the HDMI cable, use eARC, and it's ready to go. And the good thing about using eARC is that you're able to control the volume with the TV remote, so you don't have to juggle around 2 remotes. Although, of course, if you want to adjust the settings on the soundbar after the fact, you need to bust out that remote. But personally, once I had everything set up, I'm just gonna lose that remote because I'm really never gonna need it again. Now, you're probably wondering, I'm giving this so much praise because it is fantastic, very impressive. However, there is one thing that depending on you, it might not be worth mentioning, but I absolutely hate this. So on the front, there's a little LED display that shows you lit up words so you can adjust the different settings and see what input you're on and all that stuff, right? Cool. However, there is a brightness option, high, medium, low. I have it set to low because it's very bright, and even on low, it's still pretty bright, especially if you're in a dark room with all the lights off trying to enjoy a movie. Now the problem is it never turns off. Ever. It's always on. When you're watching something, it always says TV or whatever input it's on. When you change the volume, you know, it pops up, changes the number and all that stuff. But when you're just watching stuff, it's always there saying TV. Like, why doesn't it time out and go away? I want it to be completely dark. Now, the other thing, when the TV's off and it turns it off with eARC or you turn it off manually, believe it or not, it's still lit up. There's 2 dashes on the front and it's just sitting there glowing all night. That's annoying. Now, to be fair, I guess you could, if you really want to put some tape over it or something. However, at that point, you won't be able to see what you're doing if you need to adjust the settings. Although, to be fair, once I had it all set up, I'm never going to be changing the settings again anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But I'd rather not have to do that. And plus, I like how it shows Dolby Atmos or surround or whatever kind of audio is coming through, so you know that it's picking up the Atmos track. That way you know you're getting the exact experience that you're looking for when you're watching a movie. So, I like that it's there, I just don't like that it's always on. So hopefully in a future iteration they get rid of that or make it so it times out after 10 seconds of not doing anything, because I hate that. It's just glowing in my face while I'm watching a movie. But other than that, it's a fantastic soundbar that looks great, very easy to set up, and sounds fantastic, giving you that nice virtual surround sound with Dolby Atmos and all that built in. It's very nice and sounds amazing. And if you're not using a soundbar or surround sound, you're just using speakers and a TV, I got nothing else to say. You're messing up.